In this video, we are going to learn how to administer your MergeBoard instance. Now, this video is for admins, so if you don't see the administration button up here, you can probably skip this video. If you can't see this button, you're an administrator, and let's see what we have for you. In the administration section, what you're greeted with is the admin dashboard. You can see how many projects there are and users, how many groups you have, a few details about merge requests, but probably most interesting to you, when your instance expires or when you have to buy a new license, and how many users you can currently have on this instance. This brings us directly to probably the point that is most interesting for you, your users. You can see all the users that are currently on your instance by clicking the users section. You get this nice table with all the users. You can delete users, you can edit users using the edit button here, or you can edit them by clicking the name. And again, you get the information in the table and you get all the attributes that you can change in your users. Now, to make those changes last, be sure to click Save Changes. If you want to add new users to your MergeBoard instance, there are multiple ways. The first would be that you create a user by filling out this form and then clicking Create User, which will send an email to the user, and then the user can log in given the credentials that you gave them. Now, you can leave the password field empty here, then MergeBoard will send a random password to the user or to the user's email address. If you do fill out this password form, you need to give the password to the user in person. If you think this is too tedious to fill out this whole form, what you can also do is you can enable user registration by checking this box here. Now, there are a whole lot of config options that you can do later on. For example, you could disable users once they click the register button, and then you need to enable those users later on after you checked if those are the users you want to have. You can limit what kind of emails they need to have. For example, if you have a company email address, you can make sure the user needs to have one of those, and you can add registration message and so on. Something else you can do is you can add agreements. So once the user wants to register, the user needs to first check that they read all of those documents you added here, if they are required. In Germany, this would, for example, be an AGB, something like that. If you don't want to allow users to register themselves, you have a third option, which is OAuth 2 login. You can connect your MergeBoard, for example, with your GitLab instance, or your if your users use GitHub, you could also allow users to log in with GitHub or with Google or with Bitbucket accounts. This is especially handy because on the one hand, you don't have to type in all the data for the users. The users don't have to set up a new account and manage multiple accounts. You can focus on your one company account that you want to use. There will be a special video where I'm going to go into a bit more detail how to set up those OAuth 2 connections later on. Now, I skipped a few points here in the settings section. Let me just go back to that quickly. You can make an instance public, which means that anonymous users can also see all the public projects on that instance. And you can add a legal notice or impressum, which is especially interesting for German admins. And you can add a welcome message that is shown to the user when the user goes to the MergeBoard dashboard. All right, the final thing on our list is to take a look at the tasks. This task list is a list of all the jobs that have been run on your MergeBoard instance, and it's mainly here for debugging reasons. So whenever you have a problem and contact us as MergeBoard developers, we might ask you to go to this list and tell us about specifics that you can get from this table. All right, and that's it. This is how you administer your MergeBoard instance.